Yes, Amitabh. Yes, Amitabh.
Okay. This is the sheet number 21.
Sheet number 21. That is the, okay, you, 1 minute. Process
Process
impact.
interaction.
Let me open that. Process interaction. Yes.
Yeah, the slide number is 38. Correct, no? This is the process interaction.
Yes.
Okay, so in that there is a diagram which is showing initiating the process group, then planning the process group, executing the process group, and closing the process group. And
Yes.
we have the monitoring and control process group.
Right.
Now in executing process group, there is a this bidirectional thing with the seller proposal.
Bidirectional thing.
Bidirectional link with the seller proposal.
Okay, you are talking about the diagram.
Yeah, I am talking about the diagram. There is this process interaction. The slide number which is written on the right hand bottom is 38.
No problem. This is the you can see on your screen, right? This is what you're talking about?
Yeah, actually, okay, just a minute. I'll see what you have open. Yes, this one. This is the one.
Okay.
So there is a seller proposal here in the executing process group.
Okay.
Correct?
Yeah.
The upside, yeah. This seller is there. And there is which is marked in red.
Right, correct.
Correct? So can you explain on that? Actually, this how this seller proposal thing is. What is if you can throw some light on this thing, seller proposal.
Okay.
What do you mean by and what is the interaction happening here?
This is part of the procurement.
Are you? This is the okay.
This is part of a procurement.
Okay, fine.
When you have a portion of your project, you have outsourced or you are buying something from outside. Then you have to interact with some seller, that is the vendor for you.
Correct. Okay. I got it. Okay, fine.
Huh?
Okay, I got the context. And another thing is that is okay. Just a minute. I think that's the only part. That's okay. You can go ahead, I think.
Okay, sure. Any other person have any? Okay. So let's. My next step is to brief you about the PMP certification exam. Give me a moment. Let me. So let me brief you about PMP certification exam. I normally take it after project management framework because couple of things in this context we need to understand the framework before we actually talk about to understand the exam. Okay, and I'm going to cover in this what is exam, some tips for the for preparing for PMP exam, something called PMIism, that is the PMI philosophy, because this exam is of PMI philosophy. Many times your experience and PMI philosophy or what is written in the PMBOK do not match. But this exam is because PMI based on PMBOK, you need to respond from the PMBOK point of view. Basically, we have to understand what is PMBOK point of view in case it has a conflict with our real life experience. And then we'll also talk about how we can renew our certification, what are the requirements and how we can earn PDUs. So first of all, eligibility criteria. I believe all of us are graduates. So there are two conditions. One is either you graduate or you are undergraduate. The only difference is of experience. The experience from the undergraduate is required more, and for the graduate it is 4,500 hours, which is almost equal to 3 years. This much experience, it is almost equal to 3 years. This is one condition, that is experience. So basically certification is an endorsement of your experience and education, knowledge. So first part is experience, second part is education. That is 35 hours of formal project management training. Now that means you should have gone through project management training, proper project management training. You attended this course. After this course, you will get a certificate. This requirement will be fulfilled. You need to check your experience requirement if you're matching or not. Most of you probably have much more than what is written here. Now, when we talk about experience, experience should be required in all 5 process groups. We talk about 5 process groups, that is initiating, planning, execution, monitoring and control, and closing. Because no minimum is defined, even 1 hour will work. So planning, execution, monitoring, controlling normally is not a challenge. The most of the time challenge is with the initiation and closing, because they are very like short phases. They are normally very small in the length. So it's not necessary that you have some kind of minimum experience in these knowledge areas, process groups. All the process groups is required collecting all your project experience. So suppose you have worked on 5 projects. In first project you work on initiation and planning. In second project you work with planning and execution and monitoring. Third project you again work on during execution and monitoring. Fourth project you did only planning. And fifth project you were even part of the closing. So these 5 projects all together, you have experience in all 5 processes. Right? So your overall experience, now the experience will be counted only for the last 8 years. The date you are applying for PMP exam, from that date last 8 years. You should not go beyond 8 years to show your experience. Okay, please stop me wherever you find is little complex or not clear. Now PMP exam is of 4 hours. There are 200 multiple choice questions. Only one option is right. Okay. Now in this 200 multiple choice 200 questions, 25 questions are pre-release. The pre-release means the question is prepared and it is on test. You can, in a software term, you can say it is on beta testing, user testing. So your answer on these 25 questions does not score anything for you. Either even if you are wrong, nothing wrong with it. If your answer is right, even it is not counted. But you don't know which questions are falling into these 25 questions. So for you, it is only an information. There is no action item on you. You just consider that there are 200 questions and you have to achieve 61% marks. Okay, that is what is required. The questions are distributed in this fashion. Maximum questions will come from execution, and you might have seen in execution, out of 7 processes, 5 processes are related to human interaction, that is communication, managing human resource management, and stakeholder management. So that means maximum, like in execution, 30% means 50% probably be coming from the human interaction. That is the most like uncertain part of the project. Could be challenging also. 24% come from planning, 25% come from monitoring control, 13% from initiation, and 8% from closing. So least number of questions will come from closing part. The exam fee is $555 for non-members. But if you become member, the exam fee become $405. But membership fee is for the first year. For the first year, membership fee is $148. So if you total this, it come out to be $553. That is $2 saving as such. But this option is better because you get membership for 1 year. If you apply for this, there is no membership. The money you are spending is same. So there is a membership, and membership means you get some periodicals from PMI. You have access to their website. They have an e-learn and other stuff to read. Lot of books are there online. You can read them. Some of them are PMP exam related also. Therefore, becoming member, before you apply, become member and then apply. So that is a better option. So 1 year membership will come free in the same price. Now,
If just a question.
yes.
If you have to continue, means this is the first year membership. For the second and the subsequent years, is the fees is same or exactly
The
how?
fixed fees is $60 for renewal.
For renewal, okay.
If you are in India.
Okay.
If you are in US, the fee is $120.
Okay.
Okay, India, Pakistan, there are some economical zones which they have declared. Under that, the fee is 50%. Renewal fee is 50%. Earlier, it used to be $120 only. I think 2 or 3 years ago, they have changed it to $60. Now, how do you meet the training requirements? Who can conduct the training? So training can be conducted by PMI component organization. It means PMI chapters or PMI virtual communities. Both can conduct this kind of program. PMI registered education providers, normally called as REP. They can conduct the training and award you a certificate. Your employer, your company can organize a project management training and award you a certificate for that. That is also valid. Training companies or consultant like us can organize a training and issue a certificate for you for attending the training. That way you can meet your training requirement. There are some distance learning companies who can give you trainings. That is, there will be an offline kind of interaction. In that, there is an end of course assessment is mandatory. Now, you can attend a course on project management in university or college. That will also can be counted for training requirement. For example, if you are doing some MBA course and in that project management is one subject. So whatever the classroom timings are there for project management subject, only for project management subject, that can be counted for only that much, that can be counted for to fulfill this 35 hours of training. We need to, like, there are a lot of confusion around it, so I would like to clarify this thing, that BMI has not specified any content, what should be the content for this training. The only condition is that it should be on project management, and what are the subjects which are defined in, which are listed in PMBOK. The training must be on PMBOK? No, there is no such requirement. So if you are in your company, if you have attended some training on project management, even if they are not on PMBOK, you can accumulate those hours and can fulfill this condition. So suppose you have attended 5 trainings of one day, so it total become almost 35 or 40 hours, then your requirement is fulfilled. Okay. Now then you may question that why such kind of trainings are required. As such not, but these type of trainings which we are doing right now prepare you for exam also. While the trainings which are not on PMBOK, they may make you good project manager but may not be helpful in preparing for PMP exam. So that is the additional advantage. Okay. Total all the trainings will come together should be more than 35 hours, 35 or more. And there are various options available for you to fulfill this requirement. Anyway, you don't need this, just it is for the knowledge, because when you completing this training, you are anyway fulfill this requirement. Now with respect to the experience, in PMI, when you apply for PMP exam, that is the application form, when you fill the application form is fairly simple, self-explanatory. The only part which takes most of the time to fill it is your experience, because PMI expect you to report project by project. So project 1 I started in January, completed in April, this date to this date. Who was the employer? Okay, what was your role in the project? What exactly you did? All these things. So this takes a lot of time, but we will make your life little simple. Now the point here is that if you are having a project one overlapping things, you should not consider your experience will be doubled. Your span is going like this, irrespective of how many projects you work at a time. If you are working on 3 projects, it doesn't make you multiply by 3 the same experience. So you will be like from here to here, you are working on 2 projects, but it is only 3 months. It doesn't matter, right? It's fairly simple and understandable thing. Now if you see the details now, you will see that so many details you have to provide for each project. Your project name, when it started, when ended, what was your role, which industry it belonged to, organization details, phone number, one person, contact person to whom PMI can contact with reference to this project, how many hours you have put for initiation, how many hours you have put for planning, execution, controlling. So for every project you have to tell how many hours you have put in these process groups. So suppose on a project you were part of the planning and execution and monitoring control. So you can say these many hours in planning, these many hours in execution, these many hours in controlling. In some project you were started and stay in the project till planning and execution, so you can put some any hours in initiation, so many hours in planning, so many hours in execution. In some project you were part of the closing, then you can part this so many hours in. Now you have to write description. The description should be like that it justifies your number of hours you have presented here. So you have to write what did you do, what were your deliverables, in these whatever the hours you have spent in planning, execution, or in the process group, what exactly all the work you have done, and state what your deliverables were. Okay, now this is a lengthy process, so we have created an Excel sheet which we will provide you. You can compile your all experience in this, see that you have crossed 4,500 hours, and then when you apply, you just copy paste from this Excel sheet to the application form. So the application form is not required to be taken too much time, saving, editing again, saving, editing again. You can save time in that, right? Now this is the total certification process. When you start your application filling, you go there, you created your login, you become members, and you say, I want to apply for the PMP exam. So your application form will come. Once this happens, you have 90 days to submit your application form. Normally it is not required, but they have provided 90 days to submit the form. Means you can fill something, save as draft, you can fill something, save as draft, and once it is finalized, you can submit it. But from the date you have started, you must submit it before 90 days. Okay. Now once you have submitted, it goes for review. PMI reviews it and approves it. Some of the application, it is told that around 10% are picked up for audit. So if your application fall under audit, PMI will ask you to submit all the documentary proofs for the claim you have made in application form. They should be physical, so they will send you an envelope with the guidelines, etc., and will expect you to get the sign of all the people, produce the certificate of your degree, produce certificate of your training, produce the certificate of your experience and send it to PMI. Once you submit, then they will, and they are satisfied, they will approve your application. More than 90% or so applications go through without any audit, so very smoothly.
One question here.
Yeah.
Yeah, in this, say we have the past experience from the previous companies. So in that case, in this case, audit this thing, how can we certify, because that person will be there of the previous person from which we have to take that authorization, no, of certificate.
You write here one person's name to whom PMI can contact with respect to this project. It is expected that it should be your manager, but it is not necessary. Anybody should be there in the project who can say that whatever you are saying is right.
Okay.
Okay. So when now you have given some name, and when the audit comes, this person is not available. So not necessary that this person only has to sign. You can find another person who can stand for you, saying that yes, whatever you have written is right. He can sign on that paper what you have mentioned here. So you have to find at least one person who can stand for you or for your claim and certify your claim for each project. Okay. Now once your application is approved, they will send you a kit with the information, and they will send you a list of PMP centers. You need to schedule your exam on a PMP center which is authorized to conduct PMP exam. So only few PMP centers are authorized to conduct PMP exam. One I think wherever you are, you people are, there is a center. Amitabh, you are in Mumbai, right? So there is one center in Mumbai, and I think
Yeah.
I stay in Pune, so there is no center in Pune. People from Pune have to go to Mumbai to give this exam. Okay, but
Okay.
once your application is approved, you can give, there is only 1 year available to you to give the exam. And in this 1 year, you can give maximum up to 3 times. Means suppose first time failed, you can attempt second time failed, you can attempt third time. Every time you have to pay re-exam fee, which is I think around $250. But in 1 year if your 1 year passed, then you have to pay your fee once again. You have to apply once again. Everything will start all over again. So once you are certain that I have to give the exam, only then you apply. And when you apply, I say within a month or two, you should give the exam. Now Manoranjan is in similar situation, is applied and is get into some kind of things here and there, and his year is coming to complete. Is this Manoranjan?
Yes, sir, correct.
Okay. So that could be troublesome. I say don't do this until unless you are very sure you have to give exam. Don't apply for it. Apply, give the exam in 1 or 2 months. That's what my suggestions are. You have 1 year, but don't wait for 1 year. Once you are sure I am going to give exam in 1 or 2 months, then you please go ahead. I think you've decided date, apply and fix the appointment on a Prometric center. You schedule your exam on Prometric center, go to the Prometric center and then give the exam. As soon as you submit your exam, your result will be on your screen and result will be pass or fail. Okay, you do not get any scoring sheet. No marks are given. You achieve 61% marks or you achieve 99 or 100% marks. You only be called PMP certified. There is no distinction etc. you will get if you get 100% marks. So people are either certified, PMP certified, or they are not. That's all. Right? Now once you are certified, this certification is valid only for 3 months, 3 years, and every 3 years you need to renew it. Amitabh, can you keep yourself muted? Okay, so every 3 years you have to renew your certification. For that you need to accumulate 60 PDUs. PDUs stand for Professional Development Unit. So at the end of this presentation, we will see how we can earn these 60 PDUs. Normally, you have to do various activities like taking training, giving training, doing some voluntary work, giving some presentation on project management, be a part of the panel of the discussion panel, something like that. Such activities can earn you PDUs. So as soon as you get 60 PDUs, you earn 60 PDUs, you report it to PMI. PMI will send you a renewal notice. You pay the renewal fee and your certification is renewed. What is the renewal fee? For members it is $60, for non-members it is $150. For non-member, if at the time of renewal, if you are not a member, you have to pay $150. If you are a member at the time of renewal, you pay $60. In case you don't earn 60 PDUs in 3 years, your credentials will be suspended. Your certification will be suspended for 1 year. Now that means you have 1 year grace period in which you can earn 60 PDUs or complete your 60 PDUs. If you complete your 60 PDUs in this year, your certification or credentials get reinstated, renewed. But if you fail to do that in 1 year, your certification or credentials expires. You cannot use PMP then, and for recertification you have to go for another exam. If you are earning 60 PDUs and renewing your certificate, till that time you need not to give any exam. Your certificates get renewed by earning 60 PDUs. Now, in my opinion, it is fairly easy to earn 60 PDUs if we keep ourselves active. But if we forget about it, remember only when it is due to expire, then it could be a tough job. So if your things are selected in audit, if your application, then you will have to produce the degree of your degree of graduation degree, experience, and the training requirements. Normally they provide a quite detailed guidelines, and it's not so difficult to respond to audit. But if in case your application fall into audit, you face any kind of issues, you please call me. I will be happy to guide you. In fact, the Vikas may be knowing Nadeem actually, and so Nadeem's application was actually selected for audit, and he went through the whole audit process. Like his application get delayed by a month or so because of that reason. Now, how to prepare for the exam? We should remember that exam is based on PMBOK. Everything what is written in the PMBOK is true. What is your experience is untrue with respect to this exam. Okay, in the practice, whatever it is, but if you are giving exam, then what PMBOK says is true. So reading through the PMBOK is required, and I think you should do. Everybody who is going for PMP exam should read PMBOK. People often say it is not so interesting to read, but I will say even if it is not so interesting to read, please read it. As I said, only real life experience is not required, but if you have a real life experience, it is easy to understand PMBOK concepts. Most of the questions are situational, and more than one answers appear correct. So many times selecting the options are very near to each other and they'll appear correct. So that is where the challenge is. So many things I will come to that. Many things which you need to see in the question, which will help you to choose the right answer. It is important that not only you study PMBOK, you not only study other books, but also practice some questions. You need not to practice too many questions, but you have to practice fair amount of questions, so that you can see the particular situation from various aspects. So question is one viewpoint on a specific situation. So if you answer those kind of questions, you will see the situation from various aspects and understand it from that aspect, and therefore your knowledge enhanced. So it is important that you do practice questions, but you need not to pass the exam by practicing questions. You must understand the concept. So whenever you attempt a question incorrectly, you need to think, you need to see that which concept is not clear to me. Because of that, I have chosen the wrong option. So that will help you to understand. sometimes need to memorize some stuff like input output tools and techniques, because not always all the input output tools and techniques are so logical. So if they are not so logical, you may need to remember. But I will say if you are studying PM Box, if you are studying other books, if you are practicing some questions, most of the stuff you get memorized already. And even if that is other things which are left over, even if you do not like memorize them, I don't think it's going to impact very greatly. So I will say this memorizing stuff only take at the end. When you have done all sort of things, still you think that some of the part you are not able to remember, then do this memorizing stuff. Otherwise, most of the time you may not need it. There is no penalty for taking the wrong answer, so please answer all the questions. Many times the questions are very wordy, a lot of explanation is there, and most of in many cases whatever the stuff is giving, probably not so complete stuff is useful. So we should not get confused with that if the question is very lengthy. Normally it is not the case, but some questions could be very lengthy, and in that case not necessarily complete information is used, but you must read the question carefully. And normally the last line is quite important in such questions. Basically I am talking about how you can correct, how you can tick the right options. And if you are not able to very sure, then how you make a intelligent guess, not a blind guess. So these things will help you to answer correctly, or if you are not very sure, then you make an intelligent guess, not the blind guess. Some options are universally true, but they may not be answer of the question. They look true, they are looking right because they are universally true, but question may not be asking for that answer. So beware of such kind of things. Always answer from the PMI perspective, even if your personal experience differ from it. Most of the time the options which contains generic words, so this is maybe you are making an intelligent guess if you are not sure. So use these kind of tips for intelligent guess, that normally the options which have generic words like always, never, must, complete, something generic which is talking about a broad-based kind of things, they are normally not correct, because questions are normally specific and these generic words are not so specific. They are talking about in general. So in general things are normally not the answer. So I'm saying normally not the answer. They can be answered. I'm just talking about normally they are not the answers. So if you are confused between two, you may like to leave this item. Okay, so the options which are specific in the situations are normally correct. Most of the questions are situational. They could be very wordy also. Last line could be in such questions will be important, and especially most, best, first. They are critical. So 2-3 options appearing right, but only one option you will do first. These superlative terms are important because best mean only one can be best. So maybe 3 options are there which are appearing right, but third option may not be the first thing to do. Maybe first option the first thing to do, then second option, then third option, probably. So then your answer should be the first one. So first should be only one. That we have to determine which of these 3 similarly looking options we should do the first. So that is very critical in the question. So when we are doing questions, you will encounter such kind of situation, and it get refined in the workshop itself. Now look at the PMIism. What is PMIism? Is the PMI philosophy. For example, all projects have project charter. Many projects do not have. As such, project charter is always there. But when we say project charter is there or not, it basically we are talking about that it is in written form, in a formal form. It is not in the head of the people. So PMI expect that all projects have project charters. Project managers have all kind of skills and is capable to lead the team or lead the projects. Project manager is authorized by the charter, and all project manager has all the authority to take any action in the interest of the project. In practice, it may not be true, but it is assumed when the question is provided. Project manager is an proactive person. He actively work on the situation or the issues. He does not wait for something to happen. So he is a proactive person, which is right also, and PMI also expect the thing. Lesson learned from the previous projects and historical database are available. Many times it is not available, but when the question is being provided to you, it is assumed that you have the lesson learned from the previous questions. No extra feature. That means no feature which is not feature that is not included in the scope, not supposed to be provided. If you provide such a feature which is not in the scope, is called gold plating. PMI expect you should not, to make customer happy, you should not provide any extra thing except what is there in the scope. This is true also. On the practice also, we should never provide anything extra which is not in the scope. If you think something is really value added, you propose it to the customer, get his approval, include this in the scope, and then do it. Not without including in the project, in the scope. Work breakdown structure, WBS is a wonderful tool, which is indeed true, because most of the planning is based on work breakdown structure. Roles and responsibility matrix is defined in all the project. Even if you do not define, you consider it is defined. Working overtime is the last resort. All the options must be tried out before. While in practice, it is the first resort. This is the first option to choose, right? If something is getting delayed, we ask people to come overtime and complete it. All other options tried out after this. So this is the difference actually. A performance criteria is always there in all the projects, and earned value management is employed in all the projects for measuring the performance. All the changes which are coming to you, you should take them through change management. At PMI expect that all the changes are going through change management process. Project manager always take the formal acceptance of the deliverables from the client or the users, whomsoever the project manager interacting with, or who has placed the order. So formal acceptance is a very important part of the project management, and you must take this. All stakeholders need to be identified. Lesson learns are documented during closure. Basically, this is not right. Lesson learns are documented throughout the project, but consolidated in the closure. So it is not just documented closure. You will forget what happened in the initiation. So lesson learns are documented throughout the project whenever you face any problem, but they are consolidated during the closure. Whatever corrective or preventive measures project managers take, it keep evaluating the effectiveness and make corrective measures. Any questions so far? All clear? or any question? Now I will be talking about how you can maintain the certification once you have certified. All good? Now you need to earn 60 PDUs. You have to earn 60 PDUs. Now how you can earn 60 PDUs? There are some categories which are defined. A, B, C, D, E, F. So let's consider first one. First option is that if you are employed and do project management, your primary role is project management or managing project, controlling projects. Then you get 5 PDUs by doing your normal work. Nothing else is required. You get 5 PDUs per year for just doing your professional work as project manager or in your role which is primarily project management. Okay, so 5 PDUs, that means in 3 years you get 15 PDUs. So out of 60 PDUs, 50 PDUs you get without any other effort. So your problem is only to earn 45 PDUs, not 60 PDUs. Now how you can earn other PDUs? You can attend some trainings, knowledge sharing sessions, webinars, seminars, project events like PMI events, or not necessarily PMI, other management events can also be like that. But you should sure that there should be project management related and you can use them. So when you talk about events like PMI, keep doing events. Other management associations are organizing the events, not purely generate PDUs for you. So we should be clear about it, that events, but knowledge sharing session will certainly earn PDUs. Trainings will training in project management will certainly like earn you PDUs. How you earn PDUs? Every 1 hour of investment will earn you 1 PDU. So if a training is of 8 hours you have attended, then you gain 8 PDUs. If there is knowledge sharing session for 1 hour, you earn 1 PDU. Now there are 2 categories in this, category A and category B. Category A stand for institute which are registered with PMI. So PMI chapters are registered with PMI, REPs are registered with PMI. So when you attend a knowledge sharing session or training from PMI chapters, PMI component or REP, you use category A. If you are taking trainings or knowledge sharing session from any other service providers, then you use category B. I used to do some webinars every month for 1.5 hours, and I will be starting them soon again, and will be restarting, and so I will keep you informed on that. That will help you to earn PDUs. So webinars on project. The thing is that subject should be project management when you are going there. If the subject is not related to project management, then it may not earn the PDUs. Now there is a category C. This is also very simple. Self-study. We call it self-directed study. So there also you can read any book, you can watch any video or any other stuff which, if on the project management you want to study, you can study that, and you can earn 1 PDUs per 1 hour of investment. So if you invest 1 hour in your study, you can get 1 PDUs. Normally people have questions how you will prove that you have studied this. So what PMI expect you to record what you are doing. So like what book you referred, write the book name and author name, what chapter you referred, write down that name, what was your learning, a paragraph or so you should document that what you have learned, or any other references of that. If you are watching a webinar, live webinar, normally you get an email or certificate that you attended it. But if you are watching any video on project management, then see that how many hours you watched that video. Document what you have learned about it. Keep the URL of that video as a reference. So all the proof of this you document, and therefore I have created a self-directed learning log. It's a simple plain Excel where every time you do self-study you can record it, all the details. And once you have recorded all the details, saved all the details, you can go and claim the PDUs, and when PMI asks for the proof, you can provide those details that what you did in the self-study. It is very simple. You can earn up to 60 PDUs. Sorry, 30 PDUs. Maximum 30 PDUs can be earned under category C. You cannot earn more than 30 PDUs. For category A and B, there is no limit. Now you can provide volunteer services to PMI chapters, components. It should be voluntarily. I keep doing a lot of volunteer work. So like I keep writing blog for PMI. I was part of translating PMBOK 5th edition into Hindi. So I got those PDUs. I keep writing blog for Voice of Project Management for PMI Global. So I can claim PDUs for that. So if you also volunteer, you can get PDUs for that. Normally PMI announce the number of PDUs attached to an activity. Share your knowledge means you become a speaker on a seminar or webinar. You could be a panel, you could be a member of a panel discussion. You could be a trainer on the project management course, but you see that this trainer on project management means voluntary only. You should not be paid for this. If you're getting paid for it, then it falls into category F, that is practicing your things. Like I keep doing paid training, so I can earn 100 of PDUs, right? But that is my profession. That is, I get paid for it. So that is, I earn only 5 PDUs per year for that. Okay, so training should be voluntarily. You should not be getting paid for that. You can write blog articles in the magazines, newsletters, etc. and everything. This will give you PDUs. So suppose you write a blog, you write on project management. So you can claim that I spent 4 hours in writing this blog. So you can earn 4 PDUs. Right, so I think all the categories we have included. So this is, if you keep doing such kind of activities, you can keep earning PDUs. And normally if you keep yourself active, it shouldn't be a problem in getting 60 PDUs before your 3 years. But you forget about it, then it could be a challenge. Any questions related to?
Vivek?
Yes.
Yeah, in this case, when I get this PDUs, it will come in category A.
This PDUs in this?
Yeah.
Category B. Category B.
Category B. Okay.
You can claim under category B.
Okay, thank you.
Any other question? Your question is that if you want to become member of the PMI before you apply for the exam, right?
PMP certification, because you said no, the second option is better because you have that 1 year membership fee. So I believe before applying for this PMP certification, we have to become PMI membership. We have to take the PMI membership. Right?
Yes. So that you go to pmi.org and there is a membership section there. There you can apply online for membership. Pay the fee, and for member there is no prerequisite, right? Anybody can become.
There is no prerequisite.
Yes.
Okay. And once we become the member, we will get the PM book and.
When you become member, you get a soft copy of PMBOK,
Okay.
which is in your
That
mail.
that
You can
that
download it.
okay. That you will be also be providing or the PM
PMBOK,
book thing? Hmm.
the PMBOK I cannot provide because it's a PMI this publication. It is normally cost around $65.
Okay, okay. So once we become the PMI, we take the PMI membership, we will get that soft copy of PMBOK.
Right, exactly.
So we can go through that before applying for this PMP certification.
Correct, correct, correct. Okay, let's start the next chapter. Project integration management. I have a question from you. What do you think integration management is all about? What is an integration management? What do you think this integration is really talking about?
Integrating all the knowledge areas of the project management.
Right. When we say integrate all the knowledge areas, so can we go little elaborate more on that? What does it really mean?
So basically, the costing, scheduling, we have the uh, communication management, then stakeholder management,
Mm-hmm.
then
Right. Risk management,
risk
human
management.
resource management,
Correct,
communication, time, cost, scope management.
correct, correct.
Yeah, but when we say integrate means what does it mean?
On the course of this education of this project, we get a lot of inputs. Based on the inputs, we start updating the most of our documents and the processes regarding like planning, project plan, and then the communication management. So we keep on getting inputs, and we on the going progressively we keep updating documents, and that's the reason we need complete integration with the other process group.
Okay. Right. What more?
Basically, so I want to put the same thing in a more in a different manner. It's like basically from all these 10 knowledge areas, we are getting different activities or different inputs which are making our project. So this integration management put all the things at the right place in the right time, so that the project is basically happens in a effective and smooth manner.
Right. So integration ensures that if some process need an input, that input should be and this input is an output of the other process. The other process should produce the output at the right time when this input is required here, and it should not delay. It should not come early also. It should come at the right time. What else? What else you think is an integration management?
Also the tools and techniques, how this should happen actually.
Yeah, tools and techniques are there in the individual processes to do it. I normally say it's an umbrella process. It does less in its own, but it consolidates a lot. It does less its own, but it consolidates a lot. It consolidates all other processes in itself. So project initiate in the integration management and project closes in the integration management. When we talk about project initiation happens. Also, we tailor the process required for rest of the processes. Like in your organization, consider this situation. You might have seen people telling that processes are very bureaucratic. But why we see processes as bureaucratic? Because we do something which is not required. We do something which is not required. Why we do so? Because we take whatever organization says. So there is an organization database of standards, guidelines, templates, right? What we do, we go there and whatever organization say, we accept it. We do not tailor it. Now, organization prepares this standard looking at the various kinds of project it undertake. Right? Any organization prepares its standard based on the various type of project it undertakes, right? Now, your project is very specific. It's not a generic project. Therefore, processes which are maybe important for other kind of projects may not apply to you. And therefore, tailoring is one of the very important part. And that is part of the integration management because it helps integrating everything. It is starting the project and having right kind of processes for the project. So project manager's primary job is, before starting the project, he look into organization database or organization standard and do pick and choose, or choose and pick what. Right? In that manner, you adopt only those processes which are required for your project, and if some processes are not fitting, you change those processes according to your project. If so happens, you will never find that processes are bureaucratic. We find processes are bureaucratic because we have adopted some process which are not really fitting into our project, and we are doing because organization want it. No organization wants like that. Organization have some questions, has to follow some standards, has to maintain some standards. It just bother about to maintain that standard. It does not mean you do something which is not required in your project. Most of the time tailoring is not happen. Project managers are not proposing tailoring. Quality group or the PMO is also not looking at this. They enforce the standard and project managers resist it, instead of both finding out a tailoring which is fit for the project. If that happens, your project will run fly, will do all the processes. People will not find them bureaucratic, not find them unnecessary, and it will make project total work more effective, more productive, and you will not be wasting time on the processes which are not required in the project, or you will be spending only time on the processes which are required. So what is the primary thing here? Sorry. Synchronization among the various processes is what the primary thing here. Handshaking between two processes. Taking right thing at the right time. So main thing is consolidation, unification. Project looks like one unit. Trade-off, that's what I'm talking about initially. Tailor the things. Trade-off, what is required, what is not required. Which alternative is best for us. Make changes in the things which are whatever required. Identify interdependencies and satisfy them. Take care of them in the process. Ensure that the piece of projects come together at the right time when they are required. No early, no late. It should function as an integrated unit. This is the primary objective of integration. That's why I was saying it's an umbrella process. It does its own less but consolidate more, synchronize more, interact more, trade off more. 5 processes, develop project charter, then prepare a project management plan, then execute, direct and manage project execution, then monitoring control the project work and perform the integrated change control and closing. So what is a project charter? Can anyone define? And what it does? What is the primary intent of project charter? Why we need project charter?
If I can say, it is the first thing to do in the project, which will define the objective of the project, what the organization is actually looking for, and the business case.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also the authorization to continue work. It's an evidence that we are asked to start a particular task, the project.
Yes, authorizing the project manager to start the project. Actually, authorizing the project manager to deploy organizational resources on that project. Right. So through project charter, project manager get authority to deploy organization resources. What else?
Project charter also lists at a broad level the requirements and the expected outcomes.
Say it again, Vikas.
It also lists at a broad level the requirements and the expected outcome.
Yes. So expected outcome is basically the objective, and requirement should be very high level requirement with the directions given.
Very high level, yes, broad level requirement.
Yes, yes. So it should contain high level requirement and it should contain objective, what is to be achieved. Yes.
Also, it will contain who is the sponsor of the project and also how this project is with the organization basically philosophy, or how it is going to fulfill how it is in line with organizational strategy.
Right.
And
yes.
Also, what are the business benefit which will be available once this project is run?
Absolutely. What is the outcome? What is the benefit the organization will get? Right.
Correct.
Correct. So basically, if you see in this, your organization does not take any project come its way. It takes the project which are fitting into strategy. Okay. So every organization has a strategy. They take only those projects which fit into that strategy. So if you see in a project, the objective of the project come from two directions. One is from the customer and one is from the organization. While the customer wants the product to solve a problem, that problem has to be solved. That is the business case for us. On the other side, there is a business case at the organization also. There is a strategy. A strategy means we are trying to achieve a strategic objective of the organization. That to achieve that organization objective, a strategic organization objective, some specific objectives to be achieved in this project. Only then it contributes. So if you see project objectives, they come from customer and they come from organization, because both want to fulfill their needs. Organization has taken the project for a specific purpose and customer is doing this project for a specific purpose. Those purposes should become our objective. Yes.
One thing.
Yeah.
There are also objects which are regulatory in nature, means because of the laws or this we have to do that.
Yeah.
Companies have to do that.
Yeah.
Because of regulation. Where those will fall?
See, they are normally come as a constraint, and they are input to specific. As yesterday I explained, there are organization process assets and enterprise environmental factors. So your law actually is part of the enterprise organization factor. Now, law may not be applied to all the processes. Law may be applying to some of the processes where it is relevant. And in that case, that has to be taken care of. But yes, when if something related to this project and one particular law has to be taken care of, then it should be mentioned. It should be become your part of the high level scope or high level requirement that we should comply with this, something like that. Yes, that can be done.
So, one example is like the MNP. Now, all the telecom companies has to take this MNP as a project.
Yes.
Because this is mandatory from the regulatory and TRI side.
Correct.
Okay. So, this we under which category? Say, if we will under which category will mention this projects as?
No, now look
under environmental factor or which?
Now look at this. This is not an environmental factor because this is the reason for project. Why the project has triggered? Because there is a change in law. So your business case is change in the mobile area. There is a change in law that every operator should provide mobile number portability, right? So that is a change in law which is triggered. So this has become your business case. Then you understand what is actually the direction given in the law. In this regulations which has come new, what are the regulation kinds of things, regulation things, they will all become the very specific requirement for this project. That this project must comply with this. So they are requirement for the project. In this case it is not environmental factor because that is the reason for the project. This change in regulation is actually the business case for this project. So project can be started for various reasons like change in law in this case, market demand, customers request, some like organizations have some specific objective to start this. So there could be various reasons for that, and change in rules and regulations are quite important things, especially if you see banking sector having several projects because of the law is changing every second day. RBI is changing for the security purpose. Not only RBI, international level, the more security features are being bought in, and time to time every year you see 1 or 2 changes are happening. So every bank has to start a new project to comply with this. That is a real business case for that. And that business case must come in project charter. Is one of the primary things to be mentioned in project charter. Project objective and business case. These are the 2 things. Project objective, what to be achieved. Business case means why we are doing this project. What is the problem we are solving? And this what is the problem we are solving actually lead to derive our objectives. And second is our organization. Organization is talking about that we have taken up this project for a specific purpose. Let's solve that purpose also. So there could be organization purpose. In this case, Organization purpose is also same, to comply with the law. So there is no customer for that. It is the organization requirement to comply with the law. So therefore, this project is taken. Right. So what is project charter? Project charter means sponsor. Basically, sponsor. Who is the sponsor? Sponsor who provides the funding to the project. So basically, sponsor goes to the project manager, that is identified. So identified project manager, and say, with this charter, hand over this charter to the project manager, says, we are starting this, we want to start this project. You have been identified as a project manager for this. Please go ahead and use organization resources to execute this project and achieve these objectives. This is what the statement not made, but this is actually the statement being made when the project charter is being created. So the project charter contains business case, why we are doing so, objectives, measurable objectives. Measurable means they should be quantifiable. Best in class is not measurable. Good product is not measurable. Significant market share is not measurable. 10% market share is measurable, is quantifiable. So when we talk about objective, they should be specific and quantifiable. You should be able to demonstrate at the end of the day, yes, you have achieved this. Best in class is different for different people. Significant market share, don't know what is significant. We need to put numbers there in this objective. So objectives, who is the project manager? If there is a restriction on authority, then authority level of the person, high level requirements, budget of the project, high levels milestone plan, any risk the sponsor or other people, other management people have identified already, and some other inputs like how it connects to project organization strategy. Normally, if you have written down objectives, that contains that objectives are actually aligned with the organization strategy as such. But there could be some details also on that, how it's connect to what kind of contribution it's doing in the organization strategy. So these things are part of the project charter. How it is created? You get a statement of work. From where statement of work comes? Customer. Or in like if I take the case of mobile number portability of Amitabh's project, then it is actually organization write a statement of the work. Business case, why we are doing, some agreement with the external parties. Who is the expert judgment? Expert judgment is an expert. Whenever expert judgment comes, you say in that particular process. So in case it is coming in under project charter. So what is the expert? The person who has knowledge and experience in creating project charter. The person, any person, it could be project manager, any team member, external consultant, vendor, anybody. The person should have knowledge and experience in creating project charter. Whenever expert judgment says, so expert judgment comes in project management plan means a person who has knowledge and experience in creating project management plan. This person could be project manager, project lead, any other team member, consultant, senior management, anybody in there. And you create a project chart.
So basically you are saying the project charter can be created by any one of these who is there basically.
No, but actually yes. So that person should be expert, I am saying. So in case the person, normally project charter should be created by a senior person or primarily the sponsor. But that person should be expert of this. Means he knows how to write it. He shouldn't be like a novice in this. Or if he is not knowing, he should take help of a consultant or something like that. That is what comes in. So like project sponsor is there, he has to write, but he doesn't know how to write. So he can take a help of expert But taking help of expert doesn't mean expert is writing. It is the sponsor only writing. In fact, if the project manager is already identified, the project manager can write and take a sign off from sponsor or senior management. It should be some senior person who has authority on the project, on the organization resources. The person who has authority on the organization resources can only give authority to other people, right? That is how it is. Like, see, you see this expert judgment. Anybody in this could be expert judgment. If I am not expert, then I can take help of some expert. I don't know how to do procurement. I go to a procurement group and say, can you help me out? So they assign somebody part-time, okay, let's prepare their contract, etc. They want some help. But that person is not doing. Actually, I am doing.
So even can project manager do in behalf of the sponsor?
Yes.
Or helping him?
Yes, actually, the person who signs off actually have written it, but anybody can write it. Project manager can write it, but must be signed. But it must be signed off by the senior management of a sponsor.
So basically, a document from the sponsor who is sponsoring the project.
Yes.
But a project manager or the expert group, they can help in writing the project because
Correct.
the sponsor may not be trained or educated to prepare the charter.
Exactly. Or he
they are
doesn't have
capable,
time.
they can do.
Or he may not have time.
Or if they correct.
Yes. Yes, yes, you are absolutely right. Normally such things require some meetings and therefore some brainstorming, conflict resolution. These kind of techniques are normally required. We will discuss about them little later. So what a project charter has: purpose, justification, objectives, high level requirements, project description, level risk, milestone schedule, budget, project manager's authority level, responsibilities, name and authority of the sponsor authorized. Let me say one template if I have. Let me see if I can show you some template. This is a template for the charter. So what it contains? This is a template. This is not the template. Okay, so this is just example. Like you write objectives, description of the project, who is the project manager, then business case, why we need this, project scope, high level deliverables. That is what we normally call that high level requirements. The milestone schedule, project budget, stakeholders, and their known requirements. You can identify the stakeholder, important stakeholder and their requirements, high level risk which are identified at the initial level itself. And a senior person can sign on it, who has authority on the organizational resources. The next is the project management plan. So project management plan, I think you are mostly familiar with this. The idea here is to consolidate all the subsidiary plans. So what is a project management plan contains? Project management plan contains how I am going to do the requirement management plan. I say scope management plan, time management plan, cost management plan. What does it mean by how we are going to do the requirement? What tools and techniques we are going to use to collect requirements? How we are going to analyze? So when the business analyst team or any team that goes for gathering the requirement, they know what they need to do. They need the things are not left on their choice. It is already written in the requirement management plan that how they need to gather the requirements, how they need to analyze, what tools they have to use to analyze, what metrics they need to gather to collect. What metrics they need to collect. Any techniques, let's say I say I'm going to use Delphi technique, so I will write it down. I am going to use Delphi technique for collecting the requirements. We will collect the requirements by brainstorming in a meeting. So I will write brainstorming. Then we will collect all these ideas through affinity diagram. Such things need to be written in the management plan. What I am saying, I collect the requirement through brainstorming, but brainstorming can give me this wide variety of ideas. So I will consolidate them using an affinity diagram. That is the tool I need. I know the technique, how to gather the requirement. I know the tool which I am going to use to analyze the requirements. Then I can say, okay, total time to gather the requirements, total time to document the requirement, a time to approve the requirements. That becomes a matrix. So you have to gather those matrices. So this everything has to be written in requirements. Similarly in scope. Similarly time, the unit of measure is days, not weeks or hours. Cost, the unit, the deviation -5% to 0%. So no positive variance is accepted in the schedule variance. So this threshold also be defined. Now we come to know those time management, cost management. We'll see that what is there in that. But what is a project management plan? Is a consolidation of all the subsidiary plan, that is scope, time, scope management plan, time management plan, cost management plan, resource management plan, communication management plan, risk management plan, procurement management plan, communication management plan. All plan we should write everything. Configuration management plan. It also contains configuration management plan. It also contains change management plan. Change management plan. It integrates all the management plan in one place. So what is management plan? How different knowledge areas will be managed in this project. The only input which is important here is project charter, because that is the only thing which we have created as of now, right? After creating a project charter, we directly move to project management plan and management plan which we create in the individual knowledge areas that come here and get consolidated in the project management plan. You see that their organization processes, they are also input. So your all plant templates, procedures, any old documents related to this work is to guidelines, etc. They are coming from there. Project management system is an environmental factor. Government rules, regulations, people related policies, etc. could be input to this. So what it contains, it integrates and consolidates all the subsidiary plan. It defines the life cycle of the project. What various processes are going to be done at what time. So life cycle of the process of the project. Level of implementation. Now what is level of implementation? You see that we have so many processes, 47 processes in project management in this PMBOK. Do you think all 47 applicable to all the projects? No. So what we do, we need to see in a small project, we need the level of implementation is not that deeper, while in the big project we may implement all 47 processes. So it will, the depth will be much more in the big project, while in the smaller project the level of implementation will be low, then the level of implementation in the big project will be high. So we can select that at what level we will actually use these processes. In a small project, the requirement management plan, a scope management plan, may they merge and become a one project plan, one plan. Say scope management plan, it contains requirement as well as scope, or requirement management plan, it contains scope and requirement both. So not necessarily they are different. What tools and techniques for everything need to be done? We need to be done. So what tools and techniques we are going to use? We contain change management plan and configuration management plan as well. If you see this change management plan and configuration plan, there is no process group or there is no knowledge area with the name change management or configuration management. So they are also part of the project management plan. Then it is direct and manage project execution. It is 8:45 right now. Should we take a break? I think we just in the project management plan and we can continue after execution, etc. Maybe half an hour break, but just right now. What do you suggest?
Okay.
Yes?
Yes.
So we come back here by 9:15, right? We'll resume at 9:15 a.m., right? I hope all are back. One person.
Yes, Vivek.
Okay. So just I have changed this view to one document which is basically a project management plan, a kind of template. And let's look at this, that what is there. So you see that first in this, you see that this is the project life cycle is mentioned here. We can define that when the initiation, requirement, planning, design, development, etc. is going to happen. Then you can define that any kind of tailoring which is being done in the project. And when you do tailoring, you must give the specification, like justification why you are doing tailoring and what is the reason behind that. Then it's start with the requirement management plan. This requirement management plan, and first it talks about process, what is the process, how the requirements will be gathered and analyzed. Then we talk about tools and techniques, what are the tools which are going to be going to be used. Then talks about techniques, what techniques we are going to use, like brainstorming, product analysis, focus group meeting. These are examples which are giving. Then what metrics we are going to gather during this when we do the requirement, like effort spent in creating the requirement document, effort spent in reviewing it, correcting the document, number of review observation found in this, total time taken to get requirements documents approved, number of defect observed found in successive phase. Means even the design, if you find some problem and you see that this problem in the design has come because the requirement was not clearly written, so it will be found that the problem is not with the the defect is not in the design document, but defect is there in the requirement document. So such kind of things should also be figured out. And then to talk about what is the matrix, like what is the review, who will review this, who will approve this requirement document. Similarly, scope document. What is the process, tools, techniques. Similarly, if you go below, then you see a schedule management plan. What is the process of schedule management? Schedule will be based on duration. Unit of measure for duration is days. Threshold is 5%, minus 5% to 0%. Okay, reporting, what we will report actually out of schedule, which tool we will going to use, say Microsoft Project 2013, and then any techniques, we are creating work breakdown structure, duration estimate, technique, expert judgment, not using any other method. So it's basically a WBS estimates. What metrics we going to measure during this time? Percentage complete, schedule deviation, schedule performance in the SPI, total time to complete, deviation in previous and next milestone, who will review, who will approve. Similarly, cost management plan. So this is how all the project plan should be, project management plan should be created. Oh no. So that was one of the example of project management plan. Now if you look at this, the next phase of this is the direct and manage project execution.
Excuse me?
Yes, Amta.
Yeah, we will be getting all these templates.
See, this templates will not be meant for the organization consulting actually. So if you have a template you must be having a template in your organization. I prefer you follow that and see if some tailoring is required based on this new information. You can tailor it and get it approved by your PMO or the quality group, whomsoever is the owner of those templates. I will suggest that actually. Everybody should supposed to like follow the templates or the guidelines which are there in their own organization instead of following something very different. Okay.
No, it's basically like if you have some say standard thing which you have to compare with. No,
there is nothing standard in the management. See, it's a way of doing. So then, if that is the thing in the management. If you give a particular thing to 5 people, they will do it 5 different ways, and all 5 will be right. So there is no correct way or there is no wrong way as such. It's a better way or even better way or even better way. I don't say there is an excellent way of doing things, but there is a better way of doing things. So if you think that some changes are required in your template, I will suggest that you suggest your PMO or the quality group that bring changes in the templates, which will be more meaningful and more useful, and redundancy can be reduced in the overall thing. So like in the previous one of the organization I used to work, then they talk about in project management plan, you write the resources you required from this to this. Then there was another resource loading sheet also. So every time we have to change the resource loading sheet, we have to change the project management plan also. So I ultimately went to quality group. I say, why are you duplicating it? We already have a resource loading sheet where it talks about when a person is coming, when a person is going. Why don't we use it? Why we are duplicating this in project management plan? Let's remove this, because it's just a duplicacy. If I change there and forget to change here, then it will be a problem, right? So we keep suggesting. I believe that we should keep suggesting changes wherever you find logically it is not fitting, or you have some more information which will you think that the templates can be improved upon. This will be entirely different what you are using, so I'm not sure if that will be useful to you. It will be like a drastic change from what they are doing, and those people may not accept it all. This kind of, I don't mind giving it actually. Is that fine?
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So now the next one is the direct and manage the project execution. So can you tell me what is most important in when we are executing the project? When we have a plan, now we are executing. What is the most important thing during this time? For the team and for the project manager both.
To, to see that the work is what we are doing, the execution is as per the schedule and as per the
plan.
As per the plan, the schedule variance is, we have to track the schedule variance, cost variance, and if any, say, risks which are there, so if that we have to proactively see, and basically also to see the quality of the work is as per the acceptable norm.
Okay. Little correction I will
Also the scope.
little correction I will do. This quality checking quality and schedule variation, cost variance, these are part of the monitoring and control. We do not compare in the execution. The little thin line is there because they happen in parallel. They happen to happen all the time, but that is not part of the execution actually. Checking the quality is a quality control, which is part of the monitoring and control. Yes.
Okay. So okay, I got your point. So in that case, say how when we are saying the basically as a project manager, I have the understanding that we need to see that the things are happening properly as per the schedule and this thing. So that is also a part of execution. But I understand what you are saying. The thin line between comparing with the whatever we have already scheduled, and so how will what is the expected in as a part of this?
See, what is the main outcome of
execution? Control of the.
What is the main outcome of the execution is deliverable, right? The team is working on the as per the project plan and producing deliverables, right? That is the main thing. So for the team to produce deliverables, for the project manager to ensure that team does not face any problem in when they're producing the deliverables, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anyone?
It is, I think, about deliverables based upon the scope.
Yeah, as per the scope, producing deliverables. That is for the team and project managers to ensure that the team does not face problems or resolve those problems or issues
Yes.
if the team is facing any. That's right.
So project manager is responsible for the complete execution, and he'll make sure what are the resources required, and as per the project plan has to be provided to the project team.
Right. They are available at that time. Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now another thing which is important when execution is happening. Yes.
Any conflicts happening, then that has to be resolved. That is the important responsibility of project manager.
Right.
With any stakeholders or with the team or anything. That's project manager has to sort out the issues.
Correct. So ensuring that deliverables are being produced as per the plan, helping team members to do that. If any resources are required, to make it available, manage the team, motivate the team, recruit the team. Actually, all our execution part. Recruit the team, motivate the team, helping team to be more productive, providing trainings, etc. And then managing the team, giving them feedback, and seeing and providing and help so that team can upgrade itself to the next level. And communicating with the stakeholders, engaging the stakeholders in the project, seeing their expectations, looking at if any risk is materializing or any risk is what is the status of the risk, right? Those things to be done. But risk, that is a risk only observing the risk is happening. Rest the risk management is a part of controlling that. First is planning and then controlling. If a procurement is there, then seeing that the vendor is producing deliverables and coming here and providing as per the plan. And besides this, another important thing is, because we talk about controlling the quality, checking the variance. So for checking the variance, we need two things. One is plan and another is the data of the performance data, execution data. So collect the data so that in monitoring and control we can compare and identify preventive and corrective action measures. So this is important. Collecting the data is very important. When the deliverables are being produced, we need to collect the data that how they are being produced so that we can compare it with the plan one in the monitoring and control.
What is the purpose of analyze here? Because if we are not comparing, then
yeah, actually analyze is not a very good word here. It's collect the performance data.
Also one question, basically now we have this solution designing which has happened for the project.
Yes.
Which is done by some architecture team.
Yes.
And before execution or before doing this thing, we have to, review has to be done, correct?
Right.
So to see that everything. So where that will fall?
Reviews. See, there are two types of reviews. One is proactive and another is reactive. So proactive are part of the execution. So we say quality control is not there, but quality assurance is part of the project execution.
So basically solution designing and the review both are the part of the project execution.
Right. So you have a plan for design. Now you are designing, that is you are executing the design plan for design, and then collecting the data how it is happening. So yes, and doing reviews of those things when the design is happening. Doing review at that time is a part of execution. When design is complete and then you are reviewing it, then it becomes a controlling part. When deliverable is in progress, at that time if we are reviewing it, this is part of execution, that is quality assurance. When the deliverable is complete and now we are checking that deliverable is right or wrong, then it is a quality control. That is a part of quality control, control and monitoring and control. You got my point, right? You planned it here. You planned it. Then you start executing it. Your deliverable is half. At that time you say, do a review. So you did a review here and then implemented the review comments, etc., and producing it. Now it is produced. Now you are again doing a review. Your deliverable is complete. Now it is part of this is part of execution and this is part of the monitoring and control. So proactive checking is assurance and reactive checking is monitoring and control. So quality assurance is very much part of the project execution. Quality control is not. But checking the quality, if you say checking the quality, yes, I think probably I'm not sure, Amitabh or Vikas said, but that was right actually. I missed on that thing, but that was right. Checking the quality is right, but quality, not quality control, but it is a quality assurance at that time. Communicating with the stakeholders, distributing the information, that is also part of the execution.
So you mentioned proactive check will be what? Reactive check is monitoring and control. Proactive check will come under?
Assurance, execution.
Okay, thank you.
So what is here? You have project management plan, that is providing the plan. And approved change requests which need to be implemented. Now what are you doing? You are executing, producing deliverables, so outcome is deliverable. And the work performance data, that is how this deliverable being produced. And there is a fair possibility if you look for any corrective measure or preventive measure or any kind of defect you find out to repair it. So that could be change request. So in many execution process you will find change request as a standard output, and in monitoring and control change request is a standard output always. What you need as a tools, the person who has experience and knowledge about executing the project, that is a project manager, project management system, and meetings. I don't know, PMI thinks that PMI meeting is a tool. I have a little difference of opinion on it. Okay, so if you see
one question. What is the difference between corrective action and the defect fixing?
See what is happening. There is we come to the scope, then I will tell you. There is a project scope, there is a product scope. So when you act on product, it is a defect. When you act on project, it is a corrective measure actually.
Basically, it's the same thing you are saying. It's only the against which context you are using that is a reference.
Yeah, if you say corrective measure, so defect repair is also a corrective measure as such, which is you are right.
That's what I'm saying. That's why
you are right. Broadly, it is right. But if I go little precise in this, corrective measure is about the action you are taking. That is the work. The corrective measure is on the work, while the defect repair is on the product, the outcome.
Okay.
So you have deliverables, change request is a corrective measures, preventive measure, defect repair. So basically here you are seeing the problem with the product. Here you are seeing on the project work. And then the monitoring and control. Monitoring and control talks about you have plan, you have execution data. Now you compare and do variance analysis and find out and make a corrective or preventive measures if there is a variance. In that case, you will see all the controlling process come into picture. You can check is the cost is in control, schedule is in control, risk are getting materialized. Are we doing risk management as per the things? See that new risk have been identified or not. See that our response plan is correct or not in the risk management. Checking the vendor in case of procurement, checking the vendor is complying with all the things, terms and conditions which are written in the document. In the communication, checking that whatever we planned is the information distribution is happening as per the plan. So those things are actually part of the monitoring and control. Basically, when the things have been done, then verifying is the things work right or not. Then what is upcoming thing, in that we make corrective and preventive measures. Right, so you have project management plan which provides the plan part. You have work performance information, that is part of that is what the information you collected and refined it. So project management work performance information means refined data where you can make out some meaning out of it. And then schedule forecast, cost forecast, because project management plan, if there is a execution, there is a change, then your schedule will change and cost will change. So schedule forecast and cost forecast are about the change things. So this all three together means the changed plan, the modified, the current plan. So current plan, and then according against the current plan, how the work is being done, that we compare here using analytical techniques. And there is a validated changes. What is validated changes? The changes which are already validated, and now we are checking that in their execution, are we checking that are they implemented properly or not? So one thing is,
Excuse me. Yeah, actually, I was not able to hear you. There was just some link problem. Can you repeat this part again, please?
right. So what I'm saying, the project management plan is the original plan. Then you have a changes in the plan which comes through schedule and cost forecast. So this all three together become modified or current plan. Then you have work performance information, that is you collected in the execution and refined it so that you can make out meaning out of it, so that you can compare and produce the work performance report which can be communicated to stakeholders. So main outcome is what is the main outcome of monitoring and control is to check is there any variance or not. If there is a variance, make a change request. Okay, the change request in terms of PMI is little different. In normal terms, we call change request, which is a new work which is coming in the scope. But here it is not. Their change request means anything which is bringing change in the original plan. So corrective measure, preventive measure and defect repairs, all three come into the change request here. Okay, so if you see here, we will learn more about this SPI, SV, CP and CPI in the cost chapter. But it is, you say it is about the modified plan, modified schedule and modified cost. So validated change actually ensures that the changes are correctly implemented or not. And work performance information is about status of the deliverables. So you have various kind of techniques which can be employed to identify variance between plan and actual. So you have some regression analysis, variance analysis, root cause analysis, forecasting method, unvalue analysis. Normally we talk about unvalue analysis a lot. Then various methods are available in various techniques are available. Any of those techniques or multiple of those techniques can be used depending upon the need of the project to analyze variance and taking corrective measures. So therefore main output is of the monitoring and control is the corrective measures, is the measures to correct the course in future. And work performance report is basically a refined presentable data which can be sent to the stakeholders. Then comes the performing the integrated change control. The performing integrated change control is about how you entertain a change.
Just a minute.
Yes.
This actually in the this work performance report, there is some justification you said, correct, in the previous one.
1 minute. You're talking about this one? Give me a minute.
Slide 34. 34, slide 34.
Okay. This one?
There's a lot of background noise. There's a lot of background noise. I can't hear.
Still? You're talking about only. Because you're talking about
Now it's better. Yes. Now it's better.
Okay.
No, still, I think there's somebody speaking very loudly in the background.
Yeah, that's what I normally say. Keep yourself muted till the time you have to speak. This discipline is very much required. Actually, because in the background, how many people will stop work for you because you are sitting here? So it's better to keep ourselves muted, speak out, and then again mute. Yes. You're talking about this one, right? Are you talking about this one?
No, after this.
No, he's asking on the next slide that the work performance reports include status reports, memos, justification.
This is this one, right?
Yeah, so he's asking about justification.
Yeah, this one.
Okay.
Yes, yes. So this justifications, exactly what does this indicates? What is the?
No, actually, you broadly take it. Work performance report is a refined data which you have collected in execution, which can be presented to stakeholders. You consider is like that. Justification for the delays, etc. It is nothing as such other thing. Your status report, if there are delays, the justification for delays or getting early, whatever the variance it is coming, justification for that variance basically, either negative or positive, whatsoever it is. Basically, idea is that a presentable data which a stakeholder can understand, or he get the information what is the process. That is the work performance report. Right? It's okay? Okay, so let's go to the integrated change control. What is the purpose of integrated change control? Okay. Is to prevent any kind of scope creep. Prevent any kind of scope creep. What is scope creep? Scope creep is something coming into the scope which was not originally defined without any impact on other things. So a new requirement or new things has come into the project without its impact is analyzed, or accordingly time and cost are adjusted. To prevent, this is called scope creep. To prevent such kind of things, any change which is any requirement, anything which is coming to you which is not originally defined in the scope must be coming through change control process. So you must define a change control process. The idea of change control process goes like this. When you get a change, you first qualify it. Means this change is really required or not. First you qualify it. Is this change required or not? That means how you decide? If the change is in line with project charter or not. If change is adding a value in the objectives of the project or not. If the change is adding value, if change is in line with charter, you should take it. If the change is not in the line of charter, you should reject it. With the saying that it is not in line with the charter, we cannot take it. Once you qualify it, you do an impact analysis. You do an impact analysis with respect to how much is the impact on cost and time. Once the impact analysis is done, you submit it to Change Control Board. What is Change Control Board? Change Control Board is a committee which you form. It can contain anyone as such. It can contain project manager and team. It can contain project manager and customer. It can contain some people from this project team, some people from customer team. It can contain a sponsor. It can contain the senior management. It depends upon what type of project it is, what kind of people can decide the project, the change can be taken or not. The job of the Change Control Board is to analyze the benefit of the change and the impact on the project, and then taking a call, should we accept it or reject it. Accept it or reject it. So this is the whole process of change management. And configuration control come into picture because you have to identify a configuration item that is being impacted because of this change. So you have work performance report, change request. Change request is the main input here. And you have a change control tool. The change control tools or change control board is one of the tool as such you can talk about. And the output is approved change. If rejected, there is no output as such, but if it is approved, then approved change request. Where the approved change request will go, it will go to the execution for implementation. You see in the direct and managed project work, the approved change request is one of the input. The change log, you should log all the changes which are happening in the project so that you can track them. So if you have a process in this place, then when a customer changes, you need not to call a meeting. Okay, as we have this question in the beginning. If any change comes, we need not to call a meeting. We know what is supposed to be done. We have to first qualify, see this, it is in line with the charter or not. If it is, take it ahead, do an impact analysis. Whomsoever is required for impact analysis, call these people and do the impact analysis. And then submit it to Change Control Board. If Change Control Board reject, forget about it. If they accept it, implement it. Then there is no rethinking on once it is accepted. You just implement it. Approve the change. This is the approve change request is one of the output. The closing project or phase is the last thing which is normally happen either at the end of the phase or at the end of the project. What is the idea? If it is happening, if the closure of the phase is happening, that means, as we discussed yesterday, that we need to check if the exit criteria is met. If exit criteria is met, we can close the project, we can verify the deliverables, transition those deliverables to the next phase, and document the lesson learned and close the phase. If we are closing the project, then we can see that all the deliverables are accepted by the client or the users, whomsoever it is. Then document the lesson learned, transition the project to the next phase, that is operation, means the project is closed. So transition the deliverables to the next phase, document the lesson learned, and then archive the project. All the documents of the project will be archived, which can be in such a way so that they can be searched by the future project managers. So that is these are the three things. So you get the project management plan. The main input is the accepted deliverables, right? You got it? What is the closure? So there are two types of closure can happen: closure of phase, closure of project. Can anybody tell me what you think the closure is all about in case of phase and in case of project?
The big project, we have different phases. It can be divided in 3-4 phases. And when we close a particular phase with all the criteria, when that particular phase is over, we go for the close
that phase.
Phase closure.
Right.
And at the end of the project, with the taking entire learning and all, updating all the assets, and finally we do the project closure at the finally end of the all phases. If it is in phase by project, if it is single phase, then it's only the closure of phase will occur.
Right. So first the sequence is this: first you transition the things to the next phase. So you say one of the output. Transition the things to the next phase. In case of phase, transition is to the next phase. In case of project, transition is to the operation, outcome to the operations. The second step is lesson learned. So lesson learned is not necessarily be at the end of the project. At the end of the phase also, lesson learned should be done. And then archive the documents. So in case of phase, you may preserve the document. In case of project, you archive the document so that future project can use it. So these are the three things which we normally do it. The closure we do. We should remember that there is a closure for the procurement also. So when the procurement is complete, you need to close the procurement also, similarly like this project you are doing. But because procurement is a part of the project, the procurement closure happens before the project close. We also called project closure as an administrative closure. Administrative closure, if somewhere comes, you think it is a project closure. So when project closure happens, everything should be closed before the project, before we close the project. So therefore, procurement should be closed before project closes. So there is a project file. So transition the project, final product to the things. You have a project file that is archived. Lesson learned become part of the historical information. In fact, project file become part of the historical information altogether. Any questions related to integration management or in general? Yes.
Just want to reconfirm my understanding. You said like for as a part of the project closure, say we can have either phase closure or a total project closure. Now, three things. One is the first thing is the transition you said, which is either to a next phase or to the operation team.
Correct.
In case of final project, correct?
Correct.
The second thing is the lesson learned.
Yes.
And the third thing is the project archives.
Yes. All the documents of the projects are archived. Yes.
Okay. So these project archives and the lesson learned, these all become a part of the history things.
Part of the historical.
In the historical.
Yes. Information.
So, okay. And this analytical tool, analytical techniques which you are using here.
Yeah. Just to analyze.
To analyze exactly
at the end of the project, if you want to evaluate something, do some regression analysis or trend, but many things can be used. Just examples actually.
okay.
Tools are suggested here if you want to evaluate something. If you do not want to evaluate, don't use it. But normally you evaluate, like phase is getting close, so you evaluate that what has happened in this phase, so that you can prevent similar things in the future. For every phase, we
So this
yes. Yes.
So this analyze thing also we have to we kept in our history. Or
Yeah,
archives?
everything should be happen before you archive the things. Before you archive, everything should be done.
Actually, I think the archive, talking about the archive at the project closure.
That is the last thing to do.
Okay. Yeah. So when I'm saying that when you archive, it's not only the lesson learned and the documentation, it can also be the work products, right?
Not sure, but products will not be archived.
Because work product, you know why I am saying this? Because let's say we are making, for example, take my, you are doing software, so a work product could be archived because it may be used for some future projects, so we can put it to reuse.
No, product, see, the project's outcome, the work product will be used, right? It will be, that is what is transition to the operation or the next phase, isn't it? What do you mean by work product?
No, I'm saying, I'm saying, I'm talking about the work product means not the whole product. Some component of the product may be used for some other product project in the future.
You mean reusable components?
Reusable components, yes.
Okay, that go to repository.
Repository, right?
Yeah.
So that is not same as this archive.
Archive is not the same, right? Because see, the archive is something past history, and your reusable component is a tool which can be used by the other products. It's a live document, a live thing actually. It's not a history as such. I will not say it is history. You have produced this for intention to be used in future, right? It's a usable product. Archive means it is lying there. If somebody thinks that a similar project is happening, then you can look into this. But you have produced reusable component only when you see a need of that, right? It's an outcome, one of the product actually, outcome of the project. That's like that you have transitioned this product to the operation. Similarly, you transition the reusable component to the person who is maintaining the repository of reusable.
Okay.
And they will be live. They will not. It will not be called history.
Okay.
Isn't it?
So repository is a part of transition you said, or it is a part of executable part of execution as a delivery?
No, it is a part of transition. So like now in this case, when you are producing some reusable component also, there are two kind of output. One is the main product, another is the reusable repository. So when you talk about transition, you transition both. Maybe they go to the different stakeholders. Right? Okay. Any other question?
Okay.
If not, then we can go to, we can open our handouts.
One doubt which has come.
Yes. Go ahead.
Yeah, when we are saying now just this repository or the deliverable, okay, now how you distinguish, because we said like in the education, as a part of education phase, correct, we have the delivery or deliverables.
Right.
So in say software, I'll take example of a software. So we have some software which is deliverable, say a product, correct? Which is now as a part of final closure project, it is also for the deliverable there is a repository in the, say which is you are saying as a part of transition. So how you will differentiate between these two?
No, I didn't get it clearly. Say it again.
What I'm saying is, say, I'll take an example of software development where we have developed some product. Now that's part of a execution phase as a part of delivery also, correct? The deliverable, one of the deliverables.
Right. Reusable. You're talking about reusable component which are part of the delivery, right?
Correct. So it's a part of delivery also, and it's part of transition also, correct? As a part of reusable component.
Right. Whatever deliverables are, they are part of the transition, right?
So it's coming in both. I mean, it's a sort of it's the same thing is means it's a part of transition also. It's part of delivery also. That's what.
No, delivery. See, delivery. What is delivery? Deliverable is what you are going to produce. Now, once all the deliverables are accepted by the stakeholders, you need to ultimately give all these deliverables to them. So transition is nothing but the already produced deliverables are being handed over, and you are handing over all the deliverables to the other. The ownership is changing now. Till this date, the ownership was with you. After this date, the ownership is with them. You are not doing anything. You are just giving the deliverables to them.
Okay.
Got it?
Yeah, okay, fine.
Okay. So let's go to this question set. The page number is 286. If you type here in the PDF 286, you will reach here, integration management. And let's attempt these questions. When you are done, please type this in the chat box and we can go through them. Okay, so let's start. What is the question 1? C. Okay. What about question number 2? A. Okay, good. Question number 3. B. Amitabh, U2B. C. Okay. So let's see this. With respect to change, focus of the project manager should be on C is informing to all stakeholders and B is preventing unnecessary change. See, few things which I think one thing which we can learn here is that, see, by informing nothing changes. So as we understand in the morning that project manager is a proactive person, he take action. So if you see in this, implementing changes, yes, it can be done, but his focus should not be on implementing changes. Recording and tracking the changes, yes, you can do that, but it will not making any difference. There is no value add by the project manager. Informing to all the stakeholders, probably fine, but how it will help the project? Only B is the action which can help the project, because the project will remain in good health if we can prevent unnecessary changes. How do you find unnecessary changes? We say first step in entertaining a change is the qualification. Is it in line with charter or not? If it is not in line with charter, it is an unnecessary change, we should prevent it. Therefore, the first step is qualify the change. Is that fine?
So this is the project charter does the following. Oh, sorry. This is.
You
Okay, maybe I'm
respond to
looking at the wrong question. No, this is a question 3 you are discussing.
yes.
Okay, actually. Oh, okay. I got for question 4.
Okay, no problem. So I take your question to answer your question.
Okay.
Let's go. Question 3 is B, right?
With respect to changes. No, still I think it's the main important part is informing all stakeholders, no?
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying, that by informing or recording changes C and D, if you do C and D, it doesn't help the project. But B will help the project. See, project manager is a skillful, a very intelligent person, right? There should be a value add to the project. C and D are more, I will say in a rude term, that it is a clerical job. So, and B is an intelligence that you are applying, that say if this is really required or not. So that's why the first step is qualification. So first step is actually B. Qualify. If it is qualify only, then we will go ahead. Otherwise, we'll just reject it with the argument that it is not in line with project objective or project business case.
For any project, when we start, at
Yes.
the time this plan has been done, everything, and all stakeholders try to influence the project with their interests. That might happen, but ongoing process, this is the responsibility of project manager. He has to prevent any changes if it is happening. If it is happening, the next step he has to go and take the approval from CCB, control board. But before that, his first priority to make sure it's prevent from any changes, because
Not any changes, prevent from unnecessary changes. Not any changes. Unnecessary changes. The value-add changes is welcome.
Unnecessary. Yeah, unnecessary.
I'm coming from the perspective that uh, informing the communication part to the main stakeholder is one of the most important thing, because if the communication is not proper, there are many misunderstandings and things which happens in the project. And this is one of the critical thing where all stakeholders should be in sync with what is happening and what is, because if there is a miscommunication or misunderstanding, then a project, there are many unnecessary things which will happen or which will
I agree with you.
happen. So
I agree with you.
From that perspective, my understanding was this was one of the critical tasks which project manager has to do to see that project is in line and nothing and all are informed what is happening.
Yeah,
so B and C, I understand what you are saying, but my understanding was, okay, this is more critical than preventing unnecessary changes is one of the critical tasks, I understand. But it's just that which is more critical, my understanding was C is more critical.
I agree with you.
I have something.
I agree with you in general. I agree with you in general that in general informing to the stakeholders the things what is happening in the project is an important thing, and communication is very important part. But with respect to change, I will say the first primary thing the person should do is try to prevent the changes which are not required or which are not adding value to the project. With respect to change, in general in a project, I agree with you that informing to the stakeholders is one of the important things. Yes.
Okay, correct. With respect to change, okay, I see the point. Okay, fine.
Okay, so what about fourth? Question number 4. C. Okay. The project charter.
This I have already given a C.
Yeah, you already given. So project charter does following for the project manager. So I think it does connect the project to the to the strategy of the organization, isn't it? Link the project to strategy and ongoing work of the organization. That's what I'm saying, that in the project the objectives are coming from the project, the organization's objective, that is the organization strategy and the customer's outcome. So project manager, the charter is the only document which connect the project with the organization strategy or in the direction the organization is going. Maybe ongoing work is little confusing, right? But ongoing work is also related to what organization want to do actually, isn't it?
But the ongoing work and all this should be defined at the very beginning.
But I say the project in line with the organization strategy or not, only charter can say. The charter is the only document. There is no other document which can connect the project with the organization strategy, because objectives are coming from the organization strategy. And if you see C is a clear, project charter is not the requirement document.
Correct.
It does have the requirements, but it is a very high level. It doesn't provide requirement. It just this is the overall what we need actually, not the requirements as such.
Correct.
So even if I say D is also right, C is also right, I still prefer C over D. Make sense?
That's okay. Yeah, that's very true. At least requirement is not part of project charting.
Yes. Let's go to question number 5.
I was not visible actually. If you can scroll down, please.
Yeah. But you have ticked already, right? No.
Yeah, this question was a little bit confusing. So let's discuss. I think I give B.
Okay, C, B, D. What the fourth person says? A. That's the only thing which is left now. Okay, the very simple thing. A project management plan should be realistic and executable. That means the team should be able to find it. Realistic means executable. Which of the following option is appropriate to develop a realistic project management plan? So because A is not there, let me jump to B. Project manager create the project plan based on input from senior management. I think not much difference between A and B as such, I will say. Because senior management will provide the input, but project manager should create the project plan based on their input only. Now if I go to D, because that is another option which is chosen, is the project manager create the project plan based on input from customers. Now the C, look at the C, the project manager create the project plan along with the team. Now look at the question. Question is saying project management plan should be realistic and executable, means it is more comfortable to the team. So it should
be when we look realistic and executable, that's definitely includes team. But when we prepare project management plan, do we include team all the time?
Okay, I ask you one question, or all the people as such. This is a typical question I normally ask with such kind of discussions happen, that is the plan important or planning important? Let me repeat, is the planning important or plan important?
Planning important.
Planning, right? You say planning?
But planning will you do based on your plan itself.
Yeah, if you do planning, plan will come out. But what is more important, the plan or the planning?
Should be planning.
Okay, what are the opinions of other people?
Planning.
Planning. Anybody prefer plan?
Planning.
Planning.
Okay, why we are choosing planning? Because if planning is right, the plan will be right.
True.
Right? Now, if you are doing planning, not involving the team, who will execute it? Team. Now, it is whose plan?
Project manager plan.
Project manager. Now, when you are planning, you involve the team also and ask them to give inputs, provided inputs, make adjustment, whatever they are saying, you make adjustment, discuss with them, and then prepare a plan. So team members' inputs are also there. Whatever they suggested also their concerns are taken care of. Their suggestions are added in that. Now, after this planning action, do you need to brief team members?
Much better way. If you go with the planning, because we have all involvement from the team, we have taken all the inputs from them, and especially when we talk the word realistic and executable, this makes more sense.
In fact, if the team is involved in the planning, you need not to explain anything because team is already knowing this. They are part of the planning.
Yeah, because we are working the inputs what we gather from the team.
And whose plan is this? It is no more project manager plan. It is ours plan.
Correct. It's not the only project manager is responsible to execute this. The plan is the entire team is, you can everybody is a part of that is for that.
So it is our plan. When the team member will execute, it is my plan. If you give the plan and he thinks that it is his plan, where the more commitment will come.
Agree.
So that is why the planning. So involve them in planning. You need not to do anything more than after that. If you do the planning and give it to the team members, you need to explain everything to them, and even you will not get that kind of commitment. And then you say people don't like following what I'm telling. You don't tell them, involve them in the process. And therefore, ground rule, it's a ground rule, applies everywhere. Project manager does everything along with his team. It's not only planning, everything, whatever happening in the project, whatever project manager is doing with the team. Probably, when you are preparing a development plan, you may not involve testing team because they may not be that much concerned about it. You involve them, maybe a test lead. So, but this planning, when you are planning, you are doing with the testing planning, then you involve a tester also, testing team also. So that you can select that, okay, who are the part of this planning. But the concerned people who are going to execute should be part of the planning. Then your plan is perfect. You need not to do anything. Most of the concern will be addressed. Most of the issues, what is the coming? That you have prepared a plan, team member has a concern which is not addressed there. But if they are involved in the planning, their concerns are already addressed. So C is a ground rule. Applies to everything, whatever happening in the project. Make sense?
Yes, yeah.
Should we move to question number 6? A. Amitabh, it is A or any other thing? 6th.
I was looking for even B also.
Okay.
But because sometimes when you committed and this internal issues, because we have this previous project manager has given the wrong information to sponsor. The sponsor in the impression that project is in track. So now it becomes sometimes responsibility of the project manager to complete the project, but definitely this will impact the project management team.
Right. So you say add new resources. Who will provide the funding?
When you add a new resource, the cost will increase, and then you will have to give a justification to the sponsor why it is so. And so your first task would be to show your evaluation based on which you can say that I need a new resource.
That's the thing. Based on that, I have taken the best option A. But when I was thinking at the same time, so it means what happens when the we have given the wrong information to sponsor. It means the previous manager has not done the proper reporting.
Right. Then you have to be more careful about informing that your evaluation with the complete data. If you give a half data, you may not believe you because you are new. So you have to provide the full data that how it is going on. You should be careful. So what you are saying is all right. First you have to do A, and then the next step is B.
Yeah, that's the thing. I've chosen A,
yes.
But at the same time, I was looking for the B because
yes.
that is again the conflicts happens.
Yes, but that is the next step.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah, that's the next step. Okay, so let's go for question number 7. All D. Question number 8. C, 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 C. Okay, good. Question number 9. Why is not? B, A, B. B, A, B. This is the fourth one. B, okay. B, A, B. So 3B, 1A, okay. So the project plan is a document issued by senior management that provide the project manager with the authority to apply organization resources. This is a project charter, right?
No, so I given the wrong one. This should be B only.
Yeah, this should be B.
B only. No doubt.
Yeah. Let's go to
the wrong one.
10. You get confused with this. I said it's very clear actually.
Yeah.
What about 10? B, 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 B. Okay. 11. Question number 11. B, B, D. Okay, so 3B, 1D. Okay. You are in the middle of a project and in the process of finalizing the planning of a module to be started from next week. You are informed that resource promised for these modules are not available. The best course of actions you can take is, okay, so this is again, whenever unforeseen situation has come, unwanted things has come, what we do? We first analyze and then take action. Now A and C are action and B is analysis. The best course of action you can take. So I will do B first and then A and C. So I will do B first, then C and then A. This is the sequence I use. First I will analyze what will happen, then I will plan for it, and then I will inform the stakeholders. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so we should go with the B.
Yes, B is the right answer because this is the first thing we have to do. It's an unforeseen situation, we must analyze first before we do anything else. Let's go to question number 12. C, D, D, D. Okay. We have just received a change from customer. Customer has analyzed that it does not impact the schedule. I think we have already, the options are different actually. Okay. What should you do first? Evaluate. Isn't it? Shouldn't we do evaluation first? Any doubt about it? Fine, right? We have to do evaluation first.
Yeah.
What about 13?
Agree.
A. Okay. What about 14? This is simple, right? What about 15? D. D. Okay, that's fine, because D is the right answer for this. Once performed, integrated change control process is complete, means it is accepted, you just go and implement it. Great, thank you very much being here, and we will meet next Saturday at 7 o'clock India time. Okay, and so for today it is good enough. If you have any question, I will definitely try to answer it. And
Vivek, do we have the recording available for yesterday's session?
I will make it available in Monday by Tuesday.
Okay, please share me so that before the next class, I just go through that.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So thank you very much. See you next Saturday at 7 o'clock India time.
Yeah. Or
And we will
Friday.
Yeah, we will start covering the scope, then time, and then the cost. Our target is to complete this in next Saturday, Sunday. Okay, so thank you very much.